All right, so Jesse is main character energy. He is the star, the all-star of this show. I don't know why it doesn't seem like that for just about everybody. But I'm going to tell you that, mark my words, next season or the season after, it's going to be like, wow, we were really frustrated with him and Lexi's situation. And I mean, he made some errors, we all do, but he wasn't that bad, right? Okay, so first and foremost, no, by no means do I think he necessarily is like the biggest, best thing or whatever, but he is very interesting and entertaining on Bravo. But before I do that, I want to make mention that for me, it's not necessarily about like, oh, is Jesse like, is he fantastic and is Lexi a mess or whatever? No, I don't. I think Lexi is equally entertaining. I personally don't think that Lexi has the same intentions with doing the show as Jesse. I feel like they're completely off base on that, and I think that's maybe where a lot of the problems had happened. But I just, again, I'm not one to kind of like see the Watch What Happens Live Instagram comments and even have an opinion really, but then I seen them accidentally and I was like, oh my gosh, like no one is really like, it's not even like an opinion, it's sort of being a little too harsh for something that, even if it was an error by Jesse and misleading and all these things and gaslighting and all these things, it wasn't that bad. And also, the show is called Summer House. Summer House is supposed to be fun. Amanda, not fun. No, the point is, I just wanted to break down what I think about Lexi, what I think about Jesse, and of course, these wonderful reunion looks are just fantastic. This show and this cast, in some ways, they do a great job, but they also put up with so much. And I think it's just like fun to sort of sometimes celebrate with the joke of saying Jesse's the star, because I know it's like, oh my gosh, is he the star? No one wants to believe it, but I'm telling you, he is the star of this show. And I'll tell you why I think that. But no, Lexi, to me, based on like even her career and maybe like some of the higher cachet of people she's dated, I just feel like the show was maybe an opportunity for her, but maybe something she wasn't fully into. But I don't think that's a bad thing either. Lexi is done well for herself. But there's a part of me, let's do the judgment on Lexi first. But again, me saying I like Jesse isn't a team Jesse and Lexi's, like I'm not, to me, I think each and every cast member does a great job. I've been watching this show since season 1, with the twins and Lindsay was dating her ex and Stephen McGee. Like it was a really good show. It always has been. And by the way, can I just tell you, this will tell you everything you need to know about my opinion. I miss Danielle on the show. I miss Chris Leone on the show. Chris Leone and Danielle would have been like the leading story in my world. They would have been like the superstar main character energy, but it didn't happen that way. But I liked Chris, I liked Danielle. I still like when Danielle sort of comes back. But ultimately, since season 1, episode 1, when Kyle said to Stassi, oh, your bathing suit looks like it's a Steve Jobs t-shirt or something odd. Kyle's always been fun. It's been a really fun show. I thought he did great on The Traitors as well. So me making opinions rather, on Summer House this season, it's like I'm not just like jumping into it. I know a lot of people literally didn't know about the show at all years ago, and now they're like so into the show. For me, I've watched it every season and I've loved the different cast members to sort of come in and out, and remember there was Luke at one point, and it's just been a fun show regardless. But I've just never seen such a big like, oh, Jesse's whoa. And I just, in my heart of hearts, this is just my feelings and I'm welcome to hear other commentary. The heart of hearts is that like literally I feel like in even like 6 months, we're gonna like go back and be like, whoa, remember when Jesse was really receiving the pile on? And again, I'm not negating that maybe there was some miscommunication, but there is a part of me that's like, did Lexi even necessarily, not that she didn't care, but like, again, I don't know that the show was anything like she ever really wanted to or set out to do. I think it's a fun show, but I just feel like, I gotta tell you, I think that Jesse's a better fit for the show. Not to mention, like, generally speaking, I think Jesse, like, I mean, I don't want to call anyone out of their league or whatever, but like Jesse's kind of a 10. And, it's not like, I think there is the level of like, oh, but Lexi's dating and her career and, the cachet that she has. it's kind of given this element of like she's the one and Jesse should be oh so lucky. But I don't know, like as time will go on, and this is again why I did this episode, mark my words, Jesse's like awesome. I think, in my opinion, I think he's awesome. That's just my opinion. What do I know? You know what I mean? What do I know? But I just, again, could not believe how much Lexi, whoa, Jesse's horrible. And I was like, I mean, didn't they do a show where summer's supposed to be fun? Amanda, not fun. The show is supposed to be like this. It's supposed to be like hot and steamy and all these things. And I just get worried that if the show, doesn't allow little bits of fun and a little bit of kind of like, making these mistakes or whatever, and then turning it into like a bigger thing, like I don't think Jesse did anything like he didn't set out to be malicious. He didn't set out to make her look a fool, much like West also didn't do the same thing with Sierra. Like that didn't happen, but things could fall out, right? And maybe he went online and did a couple interviews where he spoke too much in a certain way and that bothered her. She's welcome to that opinion, but I don't think like West set out, and I don't think Jesse set out. They didn't set out to be hurtful is what I really feel, but that's just my perspective. I know that a lot of times things, when you watch the full show, again, I don't think I've missed a whole episode since the very first season because I've always liked the show. And, that party hard during the week and then go like, have some fun over the weekend. I mean, for me, I'm, over 40. So it's like, that's more of a remember the days kind of vibe for me. But no, I just, I don't know. Long story short, to me, okay, I'll go like this. Last season, I had done an episode on Randomly with Ronnie Jr., and I was like, whoa, like West and Jesse are like the future of this show, much like everyone else too. Oh, and before I end this episode, I'm going to do the cast members I really enjoy. And then the ones I don't enjoy, I won't necessarily say anything bad, but like you'll kind of get my perspective. So again, this is just my perspective. You could think completely different. You could live for Paige. You could live for whoever. That's like, who's your icon. That's okay. But I'll do that at the end. Obviously, you should know that Lindsay is somebody who I like. But anyways, let me not be on a tangent into another tangent. But I'm just going to say, like, I think that these guys were good for the show. And I don't think, like, in one season, yeah, there were some errors. But I don't think, again, I think you have to add maliciousness to it if you want to be that critical. And, I think one of the ones that I saw that I thought was interesting where it was like Jesse's like going where he's gonna like not put his comments on or whatever because it was like so frustrating or whatever, and the comments were like, well, you deserve it, and it's like at some point you just gotta like let it be, like I mean, that kind of pile on, like no one really asks for that. And beyond that, like he was a fun cast member in his first season. West was a fun cast member in his first season. And again, they are just trying. And I don't think that anybody, I mean, like I said, the little experience I have with even doing shows and stuff like that, both in front and behind the camera, production wise, it's not easy at all. And so if somebody is vulnerable enough to say like, listen, I'm gonna turn off the comments, it ain't even worth it no more. You would think people would just be like, all right, like, okay, like he understood and got the point. But at what point do we let somebody get the point? I'm talking about in this case and in this case only. So again, I do like Lexi. I think she's great. I think if I were to be critical, I would say that her overall, when things didn't go the way she wanted, I feel like there was a big like light bulb, going off in her mind where she was like, okay, I know that this show does very well. And there's like, they always make light of like, sleeping in the bed or whatnot. And it's, Sierra and Paige and Amanda. And like, it's so wonderful. And there's like a sisterhood. Lindsay never really was in that originally. Danielle wasn't in that originally. So I think that Lexi sort of wanted that so bad. And, her falling out with Jesse kind of, she could have been 1,000% really upset, but I think a lot of it had to do with like she really did want to have good standing with them because they are, superstars of the show. Paige is not really my fun, like in terms of a funny cast member, not the funniest, but she, sold out Radio City Music Hall, and is doing a lot of things. I thought she was a little bit boring on Southern Charm, possibly just utilizing Craig for like just this hot and heavy moment. She's not like for me per se, but people do like her. And I think that there's a part of Lexi that was really on the ride with Jesse, and the moment it didn't go the way she wanted, I don't know, it felt like she overcorrected. That's what I feel. I feel like she overcorrected just a little bit. That's what I feel. So yeah, I don't really have a case to be made like, oh, is Jessie the most wonderful? No, but I will say like it's kind of like this, and this is a terrible example. I don't want it to go here because then it's going to be like, oh, I'm not equating these two things, but it's much like I shouldn't even say it because it's going to be like, oh, is that where your mindset is? It's like when you watch Tom Sandoval on The Traitors. He was so interesting and goofy and such a dweeb even on Traitors, but at the end of the day, you started to like open your eyes and say, oh my gosh, like he was on a show where they all cheated and he did a really horrible thing to Ariana for sure. But she's redeeming a ton of success from it, more than she would have ever had, and there's no diss to Ariana. But Tom wasn't, like, he didn't do anything malicious. And by the way, it was on a show where it was about the dating and the cheating and the this and the that. And I'm not saying that that's what Summer House is for. Summer House is supposed to be fun. Amanda, not fun. Can I just tell you, I'll step into the next and ending portion of this episode here. But first, do this.
For more randomness, hit the Patreon at patreon.com/randomlyronniejr. Did you remember to like, comment, and subscribe? Oh, come on, stop being so lazy. This show has no budget, but whose fault is that if you don't like, comment, or subscribe?
Okay. As I end this, I'm going to tell you that I think that for the most part, it'll just I just wanted to kind of jump on because I was like, let's just talk, because I thought there is definitely going to be a moment where we look back and be like, God, Jesse wasn't like rude to Lexi. He wasn't like trying to hurt her. He didn't like use her to like boost himself like that. None of that happened. And all these talks of like, oh, he was jealous of what the West's shine or whatever. Like, I don't know. Like, Jesse's the kind of person like he's kind of gonna always do well with or without the show. You know what I mean? I don't know. I just love his energy, and I just feel like it's too big of an overcorrecting. Like, you know, and I don't think it's like a fun thing when, you know, somebody is doing the show, putting themselves out there, trying at least, and even trying to apologize, and then it's very much like, oh, he should be fired. Why should anyone tell anyone else they should be fired? Obviously, it's an opinion. Everyone's entitled to it, but like, I don't know about that. So again, love Lexi, love Jesse, but they got to go their own ways. And I think West is also equally like, you know, he does the stuff at Complex and other places as well. You know, I worked a season at Complex or whatnot in the production team. So, like, I don't know, like the show will show you one thing, and certain like 1 minute clips will show you another. But like, I don't know. I just think like if you think about it, like Jesse would be such a fun hang, and I think Lexi would too, but like I just think she's in a different direction and all that, and that's okay too. But I'll tell you, who do I love? So I love Amanda, I love Kyle, I love Lindsay. Those well, Amanda wasn't necessarily in at the beginning, and Amanda went through a lot because, you know, Kyle was a little bit loose lips with those hips. You know, he really did make Amanda go through it. So seeing Amanda come out on the other side of it, of course they're married, and like her having her own like career, sort of like an empowering moment. I think it's great, you know, and they've been a great cast duo, you know, as the sort of like the couple of the house. Lindsay has just been just a mess in every case, in the greatest way, you know. Make me a sandwich when she had her, I think it was her roommate, the girl was on, and she just kind of annihilated her a little bit in certain ways. And her ex, who came back to the house once or twice, and all the stuff with Carl, like she's just been entertaining. And I always liked her with Danielle. And by the way, big fan of Gabby's. Anyways, I'm going on and on. I'm just kind of like throwing some thoughts out there because I do definitely know that like Jesse is fun. I think he made some mistakes. I don't think he's that bad. Now I playfully said he's the star of the show. He's main character energy, but like I'm also joking. And I'm also having fun with the show that I think is great. And I hope that it stays fun and kind of chaotic in the way that, you know, sometimes when we go out with friends on a summer share or something like that, or a holiday or whatever, that it is kind of like, you know, you're making decisions that you're like, oh, a little bit embarrassed about. But in his case, it just feels like it's like, and maybe I'm missing something, you know, welcome to comment what I'm missing, but it feels like it's as if he's done something to hurt and be very malicious, and he's like deliberately trying to lie to Lexi. And I don't think that that's exactly it. Anyways, those are just my thoughts on the newest season of Summer House. I think they all looked wonderful with the reunion looks, and I think it's like such a big show. The show was always good. I'd always watch it when Vanderpump was on, but now that Vanderpump is sort of on a break, it's really kind of rose and become like the big thing. And again, Paige's not my favorite cast member. She's not like funny. I don't think she's bad. I don't think she's funny. What was the soundbite she said this season that I couldn't believe like was a quality soundbite? It's Crazy Town USA, occupation, everyone in this house. I was like, there's no wittiness to it. But that is to say that, you know, the show and the network really enjoys her. So that is really good for her, and she's succeeding. And I don't want to knock anyone's shine. Like go off and go get all the cash and leave some for the rest of us. Anyways, that was my Summer House take, and Jesse and reunion looks. I thought they were great, and I think it was fun. Summer House should be fun.
Hey, Ronnie Jr.